So guys, welcome to my channel. So today, while I crumb cupcakes, I'm going to be telling you about customer service rules or beliefs, basically sayings, customer service sayings that people throw around that are complete bullshit that will run down your business. Yeah, they seem to be like rules that everybody seems to kind of run by because that's what everybody says and it seems like that's what you should do, but they will run you down, I tell you. I've had my cake business for about 10 years now, and when I tell you that I have stories for days, I'm not even kidding. I'm not one of those people that love to come on here and bash my customers or when I've had a bad experience, because, of course, human beings are, human beings. You meet some good ones, you meet some bad ones. But luckily for me, I met a lot of good ones, but I have stories for days. I'm not kidding, guys. Anyway, so let's start from the beginning. The very first one is customers are always right. I know you've heard this one before. So, first of all, yeah, I want to start by saying nobody is always right. Oh, except your Jesus. Even Jesus isn't always right. Forgive me, Christians, yeah? Nobody is always right. Whether you're the customer or you're the service provider, nobody's always right. Two people that are working together need to be able to come to an agreement on what somebody offers and if that's what you want. And you, as a service provider as well, you have to be very clear. You have to have clear-cut rules on what you offer and what you do not offer and what the terms and conditions of your services are. Customers are not always right, and a lot of customers like to use this saying to bully you or to maneuver you into doing what they want you to do, which usually will hurt your business. And for the longest time in my business, yeah, I kind of ran by, oh, customers are always right. You have to do what they say. You have to do it how they say you should do it, or you're not selling shoes, right? And neither are you selling maybe shoes are kind of specific, or neither are you selling cookies, or cookies are still, you're selling cakes, which is like a personalized custom item that they will tell you what to do and you have to do it based on your skills, which means if they send you a picture from someone who has 20 years experience and you decide that, okay, customers are always right, this is what they want, so that's what you're going to do, you're setting yourself up for failure. So you should have rules and terms and conditions that apply in your business. For example, in mine, a few terms and conditions I have is I don't work on Mondays. I don't care what you want to buy, I don't work on Mondays, because our business is such that weekends are usually the busiest. So usually when the world gets to rest on weekends, those are the days where you get to do most of your work, and the days before the weekend are the days you do most of the prep for your work for the weekend. So if you're not very careful, you won't be able to set boundaries around your work, so you're going to be working all week long, which means you won't rest, which means if you wake up one day and suddenly have a stroke and die, they're going to move to your competitor that lives next door. So if I say pick up your cake on Sunday and you don't pick up your cake on Sunday, you're going to see me on Tuesday morning. I'm not going to give you a cake on Monday. I know it sounds harsh, and for the longest time in my business, I've made the rules based on what people want, but you're just going to be moved from one point to the other like the wind based on what customers want you, because you have several of them and you have to be able to set the rules of what's like your rules of engagement for your business. I hope that makes sense. So customers are not always right. Sometimes I make exceptions for some people. If you appeal to me and say, okay, you're going to come on Monday, or something happened, I can meet you in the middle. But if you try to, customers are always right. This is what I want. This is what you get. Sorry, you're not my customer. I'm sorry. You figure that out very fast. Okay. Okay, so number 2 is customer is king, guys. I'm saying, okay, I'm speaking for cake business owners, so I'm speaking for my business, yeah? Customer is queen, I am king. I don't know. I know it sounds like pride, or it sounds like, but it's taken me a very long time to get here. What I offer is what I offer. If you're going to buy that, that's fine. If you're not going to buy that, leave it alone. For example, if you make buttercream cakes and somebody wants a fondant cake, I don't make those. Go somewhere else. Because, guys, at the end of the day, if you try to make an exception and you try to make a fondant cake when that's not what you're used to, at the end of the day, you're going to make a shitty cake, because, of course, if you've been practicing, practice makes perfect. The more you practice, the better you get. So if you're not used to making fondant cakes and you try to make a fondant cake, you're going to make them a shitty cake, and now they are going to be displeased. You're going to be the baker that made them a shitty fondant cake. So now they're displeased and they're going to tell people, oh, that girl can't really bake. Meanwhile, you can really bake. That's just not your thing. So it's important for you to decide what you offer and let people buy that. Do not sell what you do not offer. A service you do not offer, except maybe you come to an agreement with the customer and you decide to make an exception for them. But even then, you have to be very, very, very careful. I don't know if that makes sense. So if you're running a cake business, like I said initially, you're not selling shoes where you can easily say, oh, this shoe is size 4 and it's 20 euros. That's very simple and straight to the point. When you're selling a custom item where you have to make it specifically for that customer to meet their needs, to their taste, and you have to customize it to their event, it means it has to be based on your skills. It's not something that you just made in a factory and you're reselling. You have to make it. And if you've been in this business long enough, you know that it's not just a linear line. Have you ever made like a cake? It's not going to look exactly like the first cake you made. Except you are a photocopy machine. If you're a Xerox, maybe it will look exactly, but you're the one that made the first cake and now you're making the second cake. Even if the same size, the same color, you can reproduce exactly the same thing. And it works the same way. So it's important for you to know that you're the one telling the customer what you offer. It's not the customer telling you what you offer. It's a different thing. Don't get me twisted. Yeah, there is another place for market evaluation, to look into the market and say, okay, this is what the customers that buy cakes in my vicinity are buying. For example, now in Dublin, most customers want to buy a heart-shaped 2-layered cakes. Those are my most popular cakes that customers buy from me, right? So it's a different thing if you decide, okay, you looked into the market and you see that this is what is selling, and now this is what you want to sell. So you want to add that to your offering. That's different. But you shouldn't let customers tell you what you sell. I don't know if that makes sense. Otherwise, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're going to have a lot of unsatisfied customers because this is not exactly what you sell. This is not what you're used to. So you're not going to do it very well compared to somebody that this is what they sell. Let me give you another example. When I first started my cake business, right, you can just come to me and want any flavor of cake. Let me give you an example. I had this church member that came to me. She and her brother wanted like a lemon cake, a lemon poppy seed cake. And that's a very popular Ukrainian cake flavor. Ukrainians love lemon poppy seed cakes. And before then, I had never made a cake like that, right? Okay, so they wanted that, so I looked on YouTube and I saw like a really nice recipe. When the lady made it, it was looking really nice, and she said it tasted really nice, right? And as a student then, and like based on what I was charging, if you're a professional and you want to do something like that, maybe for a wedding cake or something, I make exceptions for wedding cakes. I can research a cake flavor and bake it in advance and taste it and see how it feels before I make the wedding cake. But at that time, I didn't have the luxury for that. So I just looked on YouTube, saw the recipe and made it. So when I made it, guys, the cake was really nice. It was really delicious. I even regretted not making extra for myself. But when they got the cake, they didn't like it. You know why? Because the first time they had a lemon poppy seed cake, they had it in a hotel in Kharkiv. Kharkiv is the second biggest city in Ukraine. So it was one of those like dessert cakes. It wasn't like I don't know if you understand what I mean. And they were thinking, since they wanted it was a lemon poppy seed cake, they're just going to tell me to make a lemon poppy seed cake, and then I'm just automatically going to produce the same thing that tastes like that. It didn't taste like that, and they were really displeased. The only thing that kind of saved me from that situation was the fact that they were my church friends, so they didn't take it too seriously, and I kind of apologized and explained to them. If it was a regular customer, the customer would just think you don't know how to bake. So it's important for you to decide that, okay, I'm a baker. I offer maybe 5 or 6 cake flavors, maybe chocolate, red velvet, whatever you want to offer. And this is what I offer. And if the customer says, okay, maybe they want a passion fruit, you don't offer that, and stand your ground. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble. Another thing you can do, for example, what I do for my cake business, for example, if you have if it's a wedding cake, I can make an exception for you, where like you can tell me, you can choose from my flavors, or you can tell me what flavor you want me to make. For example, I had this bride that wanted me to make a carrot cake that had no nut in it. You know, wedding cakes, you charge extra for that, right? So I had the luxury, plus I was already charging enough for my cakes, so I had the luxury to first bake like a few, like my regular carrot cake. I removed the nut and then I replaced it with some, because she wanted it to have some citrusy notes and stuff. I added some lemon, no, I added some orange zest, and instead of milk I used orange juice, so the cake was really nice. So when I made it in advance, I tasted it was really nice, and then I made it as a sample for her before making it into a wedding cake. Of course she paid for the sample. The sample isn't free, so that's something you can do. So it's important for you to know that you are king in your cake business and the customer is queen. Otherwise, one day you're going to just realize that you have a lot of customers that are displeased, that are not coming back, going somewhere else. Not because the other people are better than you, but because you're not offering things you know how to make. You're not offering things you're used to. And you're just letting them lead you in different directions based on what they want. Yeah? So thank you guys for always watching my videos. I hope you enjoyed this one. And if you have any other one you want to add for me, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in my future videos. Bye.